The so-called Prince of Pot is back in BC once again, free from a U.S. prison. Marc Emery arrived in Vancouver to a cloud of smoke and hundreds of supporters today. The CBC's Jesse Johnston was there.
There were plenty of hugs, handshakes, and kind words for Marc Emery at Victory Square. He looked right at home as he stood at the podium under a giant cloud of marijuana smoke.
The whole concept of 420, partying all day on April 20th, started here, right here in Victory Square on April 20th, 1995. The first 420 in the world was held, and it was held right here.
The celebration looked a lot like those 420 rallies that started 20 years ago. As police kept an eye on things from across the street, many people in the crowd were proudly puffing in Emery's honor.
He's like a hero to us. Brings us together, right? We want to support him. And yeah, he's done a lot for us.
I think that jailing somebody for marijuana changes is really not a very good idea, and I think that the United States is wrong in doing so I'm happy to see him released from jail.
All right, there you go.
This is the first time Emery has been back in Vancouver since he was sent to a U.S. prison for selling marijuana seeds to American customers. He was locked up for more than 4 years, and he picked up his favorite habit as soon as he was released.
I've smoked an awful lot. At first I thought, I'll take a few puffs, and that was a good way to reintroduce myself. But within 24 hours, I was chronic once again, and I developed my tolerance levels, and I was smoking 10 to 15 joints every day.
Emery says he's not interested in returning to the international marijuana seed-selling business. He's now focused on helping his wife, Jody, get elected in the upcoming federal election. She's hoping to secure the Liberal nomination in the riding of Vancouver East.
I know that I've got a target on my back now that the Conservatives are being told to watch out for Jody Emery, but I'm not doing anything dangerous or harmful.
Marc Emery plans on setting out on a national university tour in January. First things first, though, today he's celebrating being home. Jesse Johnston, CBC News, Vancouver.
5 years in prison has only made Marc Emery more determined in his fight for legalized marijuana. The man known as the Prince of Pot is back. His wife Jody Emery is seeking the Liberal nomination for Vancouver East, and the two of them are backing the campaign for a national referendum on making pot legal. Gloria Makarenko caught up with the couple at their home.
The expansive view from the 33rd floor of their newly rented Yaletown apartment is a sharp contrast to the 4.5 years Marc Emery spent behind bars in a U.S. federal prison. His punishment for selling mail-order cannabis seeds into the States. His wife, Jody Emery, kept up the public fight for cannabis policy reform in Marc's absence. She visited him often, and they racked up $18,000 in prison internet fees.
Marc won an award for activism.
After his release, the couple barely had time to catch their breath when they were off on a paid European tour, invited by cannabis advocates in northern Spain, Ireland, and Britain. Back at home, their priority is still getting marijuana legalized.
Well, Jody, Marc, thanks for inviting us into your home. What's the best part about being home?
Being a free person, not having to look through a window and see barbed wire, which was every day when I was in federal prison, or not being in chains. You're either in one or the other. You're either bound up or you're behind barbed wire.
You weren't in chains, though, were you?
Whenever you're moved, you're always in chains. You're in leg irons and handcuffs and a belly chain around you. You're really quite tightly confined. Well, I was very busy, and that's the key to surviving prison. Be very busy. So I read one book every 10 days. And then I learned how to play bass guitar and was in a rock and roll band, and I practiced for 2 hours a day. So actually, I was very busy from beginning to end. The hardest job would be Jody. She was more stressed out than I was.
I grew the business from 19 to 28 employees, so at least it didn't fall apart. I had his advice, of course. After 81 visits, I would talk to him all the time. We emailed and phoned each other as much as we could.
Okay, so fresh back in Vancouver then, how do you manage to live? What are you living on?
Well, first of all, I haven't earned anything yet because I start actually after I speak to you, I go down to the store. It's got my name on it, Marc Emery's Cannabis Culture. So I'm going to be working there 5 days a week. And I'm just going to work at selling in the store when we're not speaking in faraway places. We're going to Vienna, Budapest, and Prague in the next week to speak there, and then we come back and do a Canadian university tour in January, and so earning money in between.
Okay, what about pot use, personal pot use? Did you go without completely when you were in jail?
Oh, absolutely. Didn't smoke at all, didn't want to smoke, and didn't even want to know anybody who was smoking because marijuana was very much around. But for me, the penalty for being caught with marijuana would be terrible. 6 to 7 months in solitary, 2 months loss of good time. You'll get charged federally again.
And now that you're home?
Oh, well, I'm smoking as much as I ever have, I suppose. And it's all very good.
You have both been pushing for big changes federally, federal laws, that kind of thing. Tell me some of your personal political ambitions, Jody.
Well, we've encouraged any party to support ending prohibition, and right now the Liberal Party actually supports legalization of marijuana as their policy.
But you're running. That's the thing.
And well, the point is, yes, obviously I'm seeking the nomination for Vancouver East. I've been invited to put my name in the ring, and if I get that opportunity, it would be a great honor.
And we should hear from that about that shortly.
And if I don't get the opportunity to be the candidate, I'm still supporting the Liberal Party because the harm from the Harper government is just too costly financially and morally.
So how have friends and people that know you here in Vancouver been reacting since you've been home?
You get some of the most unusual offers of thank you from people I don't even know.
Marc's been receiving nonstop thanks. Even yesterday he got a package of mail and it felt like balls or something in there, and I was like, what is this? Opens it up and it's a bunch of garlic.
Big pile of organic garlic, because people read in my blogs that I was relying on garlic to keep myself healthy, so we wanted to make sure I had a continuous supply. So we got a big bag of garlic in the mail yesterday.
Enjoy your fruits and vegetables. Enjoy your reintegration to Vancouver, and thanks for talking with us.
Thank you for coming over.